All right, folks. Welcome to today's episode of Lunch with Doug. We're going to be talking with Patrick Skaggs, but of course we pre-recorded this show that's airing today. But we had a really great time, and we talked a really long time about a lot of things. So actually, we're going to do 4 episodes with Patrick Skaggs. So today we'll have Patrick on, and then tomorrow Eddie Winnick will be on, and then we'll have Patrick on again Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So there you have it, the Lunch with Doug schedule coming up, folks. So enjoy this awesome episode with Patrick Skaggs. Coming up on Lunch with Doug. This episode of Lunch with Doug is produced by the Music Exerbia Project and made possible by the Boutique Marketplace at 500 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Karen McNair, the friendly neighborhood nutritionist, at 269-267-4644. The Harry Frog Graphics, 150 North Commercial Street in fabulous Nevada, Missouri, or call them at 417-381-1077. The Second Edition Shop, located at 500 East Cherry Street in fantastic Nevada, Missouri. The Main Square Cafe, located on the square, 121 North Main Street, Nevada, Missouri. The Gamers Fusion, located at 617 East Cherry Street, Nevada, Missouri. Impact Graphics, located at 14144 East Highway 54, or call them at 417-283-2056. The Nevada Tobacco and Liquor Store, located at 125 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. The Nevada Coin, 123 East Cherry Street, Nevada, Missouri. I'm your host, Dangerous Doug Harper. Thank you for spending your lunchtime with me. Dangerous Doug Harper back with you on Lunch with Doug, and as promised today, the man, the myth, Patrick Skaggs is with me in the studio. Hello, Patrick.
Well, hello there, and Happy New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you, too. You know, I didn't give them much notice. I said, ex-radio guy, ex-musician, going to be in the studio talking about music stuff, just like we had our conversation the other day. So I need, and it's been a minute since I've actually hung out with you, so I don't know a lot of things, too. I've forgotten some of the things. So we're gonna tell your whole damn story, okay?
Ooh.
Yeah. So what people need to know is you have a background in music. You were a radio DJ. You are a musician. You did do some singing, but maybe not more than maybe a garage band type situation. But you are a connoisseur of music, so you've been to thousands of concerts and things. You've been involved in music as in a DJ, as in like a mobile DJ setup too, and maybe even doing some like scratchy, mixy type, that kind of DJ work. Am I correct on all of this accolades?
I'm going to let you and your listeners hang for a second because I know we talked and we had to reschedule things last week. And the next day I'm listening to your podcast and it's Cat Dog. Was that the reason why we had to reschedule, was for Cat Dog?
Yeah, Cat Dog, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It was on Nickelodeon. It was a lot more famous than I'll ever be, so
well,
I'll allow it.
I'll tell you what, I realized, okay, the new year rolled in, and this is going to be the first podcast of the new year, was Cat Dog, right? And, well, and I'd seen my kids in between recording, and, well, my daughter was really fascinated with Cat Dog, though she'd never heard of Cat Dog, so I was like, well, it's a cartoon, Nickelodeon and stuff. So I started digging up. So I had to explain to her what Cat Dog was. And then I was like, well, I don't really remember either because I kind of didn't really know what was going on, but I just know of it. So then I had to do my homework on what Cat Dog was. So now I realized as I was looking this up, there's a very cult following. I mean, there's people that still love this thing.
I wouldn't be surprised. I believe that was probably past my time. I think I was more of the Ren and Stimpy era.
Yeah, me too.
But I was like, man, I think I just got shoved for a cartoon.
Yeah. No, there was actually some real work issues and stuff. I can't even remember now what was going on.
I hope
there was
they're
things
smooth.
Everything's smooth now.
Yes, we talked a couple weeks ago. When I saw the Red Cherry Alley announcement, it really got me thinking about things.
Yeah.
It got me nostalgic from all the concerts I got to go to. Grew up in St. Louis, so there was a lot of venues, even for underage, all underage venues for
Right.
shows that you could go see. And my story's just like anybody else that loves music probably. Grew up in a house full of music.
Uh-huh.
My grandparents were in the choir, my parents were in the choir, my aunts were in the choir, and so they were always doing that. There was always 45s and LPs spinning in Grandma's house alone, and she was that first soprano that could hit that high register that could break glass, operatic singer. And I mean, she was wonderful, but in the car and all genres, my dad, I would listen to Oak Ridge Boys, Alabama with my dad. I would be in the car with Mom and we'd have the AC Hot 100 Top 20, on. And at grandparents' house, we would have, besides just the church music, we would have the 50s rock and everything, really.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I know when I met you, and I guess I must have met you because we both worked at the radio station in Nevada at different times. We didn't actually work together, so I just knew who you were. But I met you. I think you were maybe doing some like club DJing at the time around the area.
Yes,
possible.
actually, I was the program director at the time at the radio station. They had their own mobile DJ business. I did that part-time, so I did the weddings and the Roadhouse a few times as well. That's always pretty fun. I actually did that in St. Louis as well before I
Yeah.
came down. When I was going to broadcasting school, I was making my money DJing. Actually, I was a janitor before that, but when the DJ thing came, it paid so well
Yeah.
that I was able to just do that and school, so that was pretty nice.
Yeah, the DJ gig is always a lot of fun to be able to if you have a little bit of technical experience and you got some music knowledge, you kind of put those two together. Well, and maybe a personality. I guess you got to have a little bit of that.
Yeah, you have to give people something, right?
Add a little personality, and then you got a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So when I did get out of broadcasting school, I interviewed 3 different places in Missouri. They basically tell you, so if you want to get on radio, you're probably going to have to relocate. Not everybody here is going to be talented enough right out the gate to be in the St. Louis market.
Right, yeah, because it's a huge, you're
so
talking
competitive.
to, thousands of million, probably a million. How many, what is it up there?
The whole region area, I mean, St. Louis City itself is shrinking. It's, I think, less than 300,000 actually in the city limits. But you're still looking at about 3 million people
Yeah, you're looking
in the
at a county,
in the whole area.
Yeah.
And so my parents all lived in different places by this time. My dad was out by Jeff City. My mom was in Kansas City. So I was just like, you throw me in Missouri somewhere, as long as it's in the state of Missouri, I'll go to that job interview. I will go work there.
Sure, yeah.
And I applied 3 different places. And when I interviewed down here, it was really funny. I'm getting in there. I get in the interview, and I'm a city boy, and I come in with short, spiked hair, and I have an hoop eyebrow ring, and I'm sitting there with, Double K Country's owner, Mike Harbit, and I remember it. He just stared at me, and first question was basically, "What do you know about country music?" Which is a valid question. He knows where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Because
programming, you're picking like the songs, the playlist, and these things for like. Is that what you were? Or you
no,
were in a
I was
different
going
department?
for on air and production.
Okay.
So on air was the second half of the day, afternoon DJ.
Okay.
During the day, I would assist with production with
Okay.
Eric Nichols, the
Okay.
production director at the time. And without a beat, I was like, I know Oak Ridge Boys, I know Alabama. Because my dad played them all the time, and I loved Alabama growing up. And he loved, of course, Elvira would play constantly from the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yeah.
And I guess I did enough not to get the job because I went home, and the next day I was told that they went with somebody else.
Oh man.
And then 3 days later, I get a call. And the program director's on the phone. And I'm like, yeah, we want to offer you the job. What happened to the other guy? Well, it didn't work out. That should have been probably one of those moments when a smart person's like, this does not sound like it's a good idea. But, you know, I wanted it so bad. I was like, yes, I'll start next week. You know, I'll come down soon, quick, now, let's go.
Yeah.
So that was pretty funny.
Well, it's good that you said yes, because then this would never be happening right
That's
now.
right. We're coming full circle right here.
Yeah. The universe works in mysterious ways.
But I was thinking, trying to remember exactly how we met, where we met. And it probably was that now. But I was thinking it was either at the radio station, you were dropping off something, promoting something.
Right, possibly.
Or it was at Gordon's Pizza.
That might have been.
Because I remember going down there, and you probably might have been promoting it. Or it might have been, you know, the owner at the time. And, of course, I was just excited. Oh, there's live music? It's close by. All right, cool. Go down, and I believe it was Eric Lane Gulliford was playing, I believe. And maybe your brother was playing that night, too.
Okay.
But that just seemed to be, it just felt right when I walked in, because you could tell it was like all musicians in there.
Oh, yeah.
Jamming, having a good time. And I was like, okay, this feels kind of more like home. It made me less homesick being down there.
Yeah. It really did feel like when you went in there, you escaped like Nevada and you felt like you were in the city, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute, I'm just down here on the historic East End.
Right. And, you know, we do have great live music, but let's face it, it's, you know, occasionally at a restaurant or, you know, just on the weekend at the bar where you have to be a certain age.
Yeah.
So I was really excited about the Red Cherry Alley.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be something special.
And you yourself, I'm sure you have some great stories as well. I mean, here you are, man of many hats. You know, musician, songwriter, producer, production, everything, and, you know, touring musician. I'm sure you have some great stories too as well.
Oh, I've got a few.
Are you allowed? Did you have to sign an NDA?
Yeah, I can't tell. And you know, like, it's like when everything was going right, you don't usually remember those. It's always the ones that were like the terrible, like, I'm freezing. We're over. Our van was overheating in the middle of winter in Iowa. Okay, so it's overheating, so you can't, like, how does a car overheat in, like, sub-zero? It was, like, I think the wind chill was, like, -16 or something like that. So we had to sit there waiting on AAA for, like, almost an hour. And, you know, the car can't run, so there's no heat. So eventually it just gets colder and colder and colder and colder.
It's real cold up there.
So finally, like, they've been on the phone, you know, finally the local police department, like, comes to get us, like, to say, they're like, well, you guys can, if it's taking that long, well, you guys can come down to the station, you know, and hang out. But to ride in the car, I had to get in the back, like, you know, they've got the cage, so it's like I'm getting arrested in the back of the police. I'm like, there's no room in here, so we're all crammed because one of us got to ride up front, and the other three are crammed in the back seat of this police car, you know, like, oh man. I was like, I've never experienced this. It's like you go down there, it's like Did
anybody try to, like, take their instrument with them and into the car? Nobody's grabbing, you're not grabbing the bass or anything?
No, well, and our stuff was packed well with like, you know, in cases and stuff, and it was in the trailer, and so it was kind of used to having.
And it was
cold.
secured.
Yeah.
That's good.
So it was a nice metal trailer and whatever, but still, yeah. I mean, you worry about stuff like that, but yeah, it was. When you're freezing like that, you're like, I just got to go get warm. This is all I care about right now.
And another place where music really hit me was school. I was fortunate enough to go to a visual and performing arts elementary school in St. Louis.
Nice.
And you do your regular curriculum half the day, and then the other half the day is just for, you know, the arts, drama, you know, band, choir, all of that. And they encourage you. They kind of rotate you like the first year or two, at least they did then, of going through all of them so you could find your niche and find what you like. And that was really nice. So I learned the harp one year. I took that one voluntarily because it was a low guy ratio to girls in the harp. And so I learned to play the harp. And then I took violin, and I did the drama, and I did the choir. And choir is what really stuck. Choir, by third grade, at a parent-teacher conference, told my mom that I need to go try out for this choir, the St. Louis Boys Choir. And I really, really wanted to do it. So, my parents, were great parents. They encouraged those things and took me to the audition. And the audition, you had to sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Okay.
Now, you as a musician probably know it is one of the hardest songs that you can sing because of the register, the high and the low register, and how quickly you have to jump in there. And so that's why...
If you start in the wrong key, you're stuck with it. You're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
No, it's too high.
And that's why they picked it. But, I was lucky enough, fortunate enough to make it. And that was really cool because we learned music theory. We weren't a choir where, here's the words, this is the melody, all that. They taught us music theory, which is really unheard of for singing. Most of the time it's a guitar, somebody playing an instrument, not doing music theory. So that was very nice. And we would go to churches, do Gregorian chants.
Oh, wow.
And sing those. We would, we sang with the St. Louis Symphony under Leonard Slatkin.
Yeah.
And I got to meet, the world famous conductor Leonard Slatkin.
Yeah.
That was great. Got to sing at the big 4th of July VP Fair celebration up there as well.
Yeah.
So those were some cool things from back then. So when you say musician, I was a singer and, semi, can't say professionally. I didn't get paid.
Yeah, well, that's...
But there was some formal
being the
St.
Louis Boys Choir, I mean, I've heard of them. They're like a name act.
Yeah.
It's like the Chucellos almost, kind of. And if you're playing in St. Louis, that's the thing, in the metro area, you're playing to a lot more people just because there's more people. So you're going to have more exposure. And you're going to have more competition, like you were saying. Even in younger age, you're having more competition to who gets in. So to be chose is a big deal.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so because of that, a lot of my friends, because, I like music, they like music, they're playing guitars and all. We want you to sing.
Yeah.
We want you to sing in the band. The Achilles heel is I have intense stage fright. Back in the visual and performing arts school, the drama was a no-go. The first time I had to stand up there by myself and say a line or sing, I would crack. So I'd always start out with good intentions. Yeah, I'll join the band, or yeah, I'll jam with you in the garage type of thing. But I was not getting on a stage at that time. And that's still, to this day, there's a little bit of that. It takes a lot of courage for me to get up in front of people.
Yeah. And we're going to hear more of the conversation we had with Patrick Skaggs on the next Lunch with Doug. Thanks for spending your lunchtime with us today on Lunch with Doug. This episode of Lunch with Doug is produced by the Music Exerbia Project and made possible by the Boutique Marketplace at 500 East Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. Karen McNair, the friendly neighborhood nutritionist at 269-267-4644. The Harry Frog Graphics, 150 North Commercial Street in fabulous Nevada, Missouri, or call them at 417-381-1077. The Second Edition Shop, located at 500 East Cherry Street in fantastic Nevada, Missouri. The Main Square Cafe, located on the square, 121 North Main Street, Nevada, Missouri. The Gamers Fusion, located at 617 East Cherry Street, Nevada, Missouri. Impact Graphics, located at 14144 East Highway 54, or call them at 417-283-2056. The Nevada Tobacco and Liquor Store, located at 125 West Cherry Street in Nevada, Missouri. The Nevada Coin, 123 East Cherry Street, Nevada, Missouri.